And we are live. Greetings and salvations. I'm Unthoth Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and you are listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question, how many trucks apiece does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? This question and many more will be answered by our single guest, which is the ever-illustrious Kekistani Trenny, who is a well-renowned professor from the School of Harvard, where he does... I believe, teaches history. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. He teaches finger quotes history. Any rate, how you doing, Keck?
Lovely. What about you?
Oh, we're doing very good. I was thinking of doing the entire show with my sarcastic voice like a TV announcer, but we'll see what happens here.
No.
Okay, we won't do that. Anyway, moving on. I think we're just going to hit the highlights. We're going to kind of make this short. We don't got a lot of time, and there's only two things to talk about. Again, as we alluded with our question, yet another truck apiece has driven through New York City, and only New York City seems to care. I don't know about anybody else, but I can't find anything on the news anywhere unless I'm searching for it. It's like it never happened. Even when they're talking about like the candlelight vigils and whatnot, I don't see it on the news anywhere. And I make a point to try and keep track of that stuff because at one of my jobs, I have nothing to do except like watch TV for a couple of hours while I'm waiting for disasters to happen. And I try to stick to the news just to know what horrible things are going on. And honestly, the news is kind of like stopped reporting on stuff. It's bizarre. I don't think we need to go into the details. It's the same thing over and over, blah, blah, blah. Some guy came in on a program, drove over a bunch of people. Turns out he was a Muslim. Allah Akbar, blah, blah, blah. Everybody on the left is shouting, not all Muslims. Everybody on the right is going, oh, look, the left is shouting, not all Muslims. And yet nobody does anything. So I don't know what's to talk about. You know, I hate to say it. It's getting to the point where I really just don't care. I know I should be concerned and everything, but I'm sorry, my give-a-damn's busted. My give-a-damn's been busted for weeks now, but this is one of those situations where I just want to go, you know, this is what everybody wanted. This is what your diversity means, and you got it. So you got what you wished for. Any thoughts?
Not really. I mean, this whole thing's been done to death. It's the same people saying the same shit over and over again, but nothing actually gets done about anything.
Yeah, seriously, I think I could get like the last rant from like 3 or 4 ago and just put it on a loop at this point. So I guess that's what the rant's about, is that at this point we're just repeating ourselves over and over. At any rate, moving on to topic number 2, the one that actually appeals to me, the DNC. The Democratic Party continues to tear itself apart in an orgy of accusations.
What a surprise.
I don't know. I think it was a book that came out or something. I don't know. Somebody did a tell-all something or other where they go, hey, look, Hillary Clinton bought the DNC back in 2015, which actually surprised me. I thought she bought it in 2016. I didn't realize she had bought it back in 2015. That was news to me. But yeah, apparently...
That was pretty early.
Yeah, Obama apparently bankrupted the DNC as his own personal piggy bank, using them as a slush fund to pay all of his cronies and supporters. Then he basically said, yeah, I'll get around to paying you sometime after 2016. He fully intended to pay him back someday. You know, I will say this. I had a grudging amount of respect for Obama up until this point. The moment it turns out you were just another money-grubbing Clintonian, where all of this was just about lining your pockets with filthy liqueur, that was the point where I basically lost any of the small amount of respect I had for him. He is a total scumbag now. He's just like every other president or before him who was just greedy. He's just a greedy politician. Nothing special about him at all. He is just a greedy politician who had a different coat of paint. Any thoughts on any of this mess?
I mean, I expect politicians to be corrupt, and I'm sure you do too, because that's the sensible thing to do. But there's a certain point where you gotta go, why are these people allowed to be in politics still?
I am floored that she basically bought the DNC. I mean, for a while now, I've been saying that Donald Trump performed a hostile takeover of the RNC. But the difference between the two is Hillary Clinton just basically bought it with cash, and Donald Trump performed I would have to say, a stockholder revolt, where he got those people with the power to vote of who was going to be in charge of the party and got them to choose him over everybody else. Of the two buyouts, I'm going with Donald Trump's hostile takeover over Hillary Clinton, which basically was a joke. And now in retrospect, it makes the whole Bernie thing make more sense. I was even wondering why he was allowed to be running for the Democratic Party, because he wasn't a Democrat. You can't be nominated as a Democrat if you're not a Democrat, and Bernie Sanders wasn't. The reason is because nobody was going to go up against Hillary Clinton. Nobody with name recognition was going to go up against her, because everybody who was already in the DNC knew that she owned everything, and they weren't going to torpedo their own careers just to make Hillary Clinton look good. So they had to bring in somebody like Bernie Sanders, who wasn't a member of the DNC, who wouldn't know that Hillary Clinton had already bought the place out, so they could have him stand up there and look like there was some sort of race going on to try and drum up, support for Hillary. Because if Hillary ran uncontested, it wouldn't look good. It really wouldn't. But to bring out Bernie Sanders, somebody with some name recognition, they hoped he would get up there, say some crazy things, do some stupid stuff, and then he'd get drummed out about 2 or 3 months through. They had no idea he might actually gain some support. And then, they've got the usual lie, well, they torpedoed his, career because they were trying to protect the DNC from a crazy socialist. Well, if you wanted to protect it from him, don't let him run in the first place, because you didn't have to. This was just politically removing. It was bread and circuses for the masses. And the DNC is the most corrupt political party ever. So I hope they all die screaming. And I cannot wait until the midterm elections. Any other thoughts on this topic?
I agree on specifically with wanting them to die screaming.
Okay, moving on. Paranoid alert here. Apparently 5 key witnesses to the Las Vegas shooting have all either wound up dead, disappeared, or committed murder-suicide. I honestly, I don't like the source, so I'm not going to go over this article too quick, but the 4 out of these 5 people they listing are dead. And of the 5 people, the 5th one's missing, they all did have reports that didn't match the main narrative. Now, that said, when you have over 500 witnesses, you're going to have a couple of people who are going to have seen things wrong. Okay? So any need to kill 5 people to cover up what 500 witnesses saw is insane. So I don't think there's a conspiracy here, but I did want to just bring it up and go, Any thoughts?
I've always been one for interesting conspiracy theories, so I can't wait to see where this one leads people.
Oh, yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. I mean, the whole JFK thing, now that they're releasing the documents, I think that conspiracy's dead. We need a new shooting conspiracy, and I think this one fits the bill. This one might have legs. Anyway, moving on. Now, on a report from the AP, which I tend to go directly to the Associated Press, because even though they're corrupt, they're not completely corrupt. But I like this one. AP finds hackers hijacked at least 195 Trump web addresses. And these hackers were supposedly from, let's say, Russia. I've been saying for a while now that I really think that if Russia was interfering with the election, he wanted Hillary Clinton to win because she was totally corrupt and easily buyable. I think that the Russian government was trying to torpedo Trump running for office. So I find this little article, there's not much in it. It just seems like a lot of web addresses from Russia attacked Trump's web addresses. Any thoughts?
Nah.
Yeah, we already covered this one. I like this one. In Warren, Ohio, a man pulled out a gun after failing to get a McMuffin. Apparently, this guy showed up at 3:30 a.m. and said, "I would like a McMuffin." Whereupon the drive-thru worker said, "I'm sorry, we are out of Egg McMuffins." And then the
only sensible thing to do is to pull out your gun.
only sensible thing is to pull out your gun, curse at the person in the window with a vulgar name, and then drive away.
This is America, goddammit. Give him his McMuffin.
I don't care if there's a muffin. You gonna find me a McMuffin, you gonna give me goddamn McMuffin. Just holy crap. Ah, this is awesome. This is just awesome. Any rate. Moving on. I'm not sure what this even means, but, you know, I wanted to bring it up. Headless 400-pound tuna found in woods of Gloucester, Massachusetts. One, how did they measure it to know that it was 400 pounds? Two, I had no idea a single tuna could get that big. Like, that is a big-ass tuna. But, wow. Just, wow. I'm just floored at the size. What it was doing headless and abandoned in the woods is beyond me. Any thoughts?
I'm very confused as to how it got there. Was it in a plane? Did somebody put it there?
Well, they're trying to figure out how it got there because it needed to be hauled out of the trees with a tow truck. Like, if the fish the fish was clearly illegally harvested, but it needed to be hauled out of the trees with a tow truck. So that would ask, how did the tuna get there in the first place? Holy crap, it's a 400-pound tuna. I've got
flying giant fish.
That's like two me's. That's like two me's. Two me's as a fish. I'm like, wow.
Tornado.
Oh my god, it's tornado. Yes, it wasn't Sharknado, it was tornado. I don't know. And how the head was removed. How much heavier would it have been with the head is my question. But okay, moving on. As a side note, apparently Trump has banned people from his Twitter account. And the people who have been banned have gotten so butthurt, they have hired lawyers to claim that Trump's tweets are an instrument of governance, and by the right of the First Amendment, they have the right to hear what he has to say, so he can't ban them. So this goes onto my list of colossal wastes of money. I'm sorry. Make another Twitter account. Nothing's stopping you from making another Twitter account. He's not banning you from finding out the information. He's banning your account. Because and you can get your account banned from all sorts of stuff for being a jerk. You could certainly get your account banned from, you know, Trump's tweet. Any thoughts?
I mean, I can get wanting to see the president's tweets, but at the same time, what's the point of getting a fucking lawyer? It's got to be so expensive. You could just make a new Twitter.
Yeah, I think in the end, it's about just whatever it takes to cause controversy for Trump. I don't think they care. I really don't. But the thing is that when I see something like this, I'm not the biggest fan of everything Trump's done. But when I see this, I just sit there and slowly shake my head and go, wow, imagine what would have happened if Hillary had gotten elected. You know, that's all they're doing. All they're doing is reminding me how much the Democrats suck. Anyway, any thoughts before we move on?
Nope.
Man who used water gun in bank robberies got 10 years. He managed to rob 2 banks with a water pistol painted to look like a real pistol.
Life goals.
I gotta admit, 34-year-old Edgardo Rivera. I just like that name. Edgardo Rivera. I mean, that sounds like somebody who should be a lounge singer. You know, I want to fuck you like an animal. I want to feel you from the inside. Hey, you're doing good. I mean, that's Trent Reznor when he gets about 70 and needs to drum up some money in Las Vegas. Anyway, seriously, man, he's got $10,000 with a water pistol. But the way the rules are, if they think you have a weapon, it's armed robbery. I mean, props to the guy, but he only got 10 years for 2 bangs. That's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, that's worth it. Why don't you just pay bail?
Oh, man, seriously. I gotta admit, though, his lawyer asked for a shorter sentence, saying his client used a water gun to make sure no one got hurt. It doesn't...
Oh, how considerate.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they think you've got a gun. And I agree with that. I do agree with that as far as the law is concerned. If I think you've got a gun, you should be treated as you're armed. Because the cops responding might open fire and, trust me, bullets ricochet. Bullets ricochet. I don't want to be anywhere near armed fire discharge, and you might get shot to hell over that thing. But moving on. Yeah, we already covered the whole Muslims complaining about, oh no, we're the real victims here. Then let's see. Side note, Olympian Nancy Kerrigan headlines infertility conference. I'm going to save you. It basically complains about women are having problems having children. And I think it basically comes down to, maybe you should have children before you're 35. Just saying. Okay, that's my thoughts on the matter. Don't wait until your eggs have gone all stale before you start having children. And then you won't have 6 miscarriages. Also, don't starve yourself to be an Olympic athlete and completely screw up all of your menopause, all of your, what is it? I forget what it's called, periods, whatever. Because that's what happens when you're an Olympian. When you're an Olympian, you totally screw up, all your female plumbing. And, she paid for it. And now she's at highlighting infertility conference. So the resolution is have your children when you're young and healthy. How about that? Any thoughts?
I don't think that's my place to judge anyone on making themselves infertile.
Gotcha. But it's their choice. I just got a problem with them trying to get the rest of us to care. You made your bed, lie in it. I'm not going to judge you, but I also am not supposed to. I don't expect me to care either. Anyway, moving on. This one was a little disturbing for me. Pakistan is mainstreaming tribal justice. I don't know if you've heard about the tribal justice thing, but basically what happens is a local area has a jirga, where a tribal council comes together and then passes judgment, including having the sister of the criminal raped and murdered in front of everybody to punish the escaped criminal. These things that happen at these jirga are just horrific human rights violations. They are disgusting. And if you are, pro women's rights, you hate this. And everything about a jirga is wrong. My problem is that in order to try and appease local tribesmen, they passed a law that basically say, okay, we're going to allow jirgas, but a legal representative of the actual court has to be present when we do this. I got a solution. No, ban the fuckers. Ban the fuckers and make your back ass, living in a cave country up into the 21st goddamn century. Holy fuck. These are evil. I don't even go into it. It's just disgusting. But yeah, they use revenge rape as a punishment. This isn't a one-time thing. So, any thoughts on how evil Pakistan has become?
I can't use words to describe how fucking disgusting those people are.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but just... No, I understand all cultures are equal. No, all cultures aren't equal. Some cultures are vastly superior to others. This is Exhibit A. Anyway, moving on. Give me a sec.
All right.
You know what? I'm never going to get to the end of this article. I'm just going to sum it up. The Bolshevik Revolution was 100 years ago today, I believe. Do you know that?
Heard about it.
That's why Antifa was going to stream out into cities all over the United States and start the revolution here in America to overthrow Donald Trump. Guess what happened? I think about
Nothing.
3 people showed up. I'm serious. Like, their big planned revolution, their big planned BS thing completely flopped. Nobody showed up. It's hysterical.
Yeah, nobody showed up then, but I'm sure there's going to be some people who are going to try to make up for it tomorrow night. I mean, from my experience, there's always been a fairly large turnout during the marches on November 5th.
We'll see what happens, but to be honest, you know what, I think that this is kind of funny. Like, it's just an example of how they're LARPers. Most of these Antifa people are just LARPers. You know, they do not have the strength of their conviction. If they're not wearing a mask, they don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that's... So, I used to do a fair amount of activism with leftists, and they would always talk about how people were too afraid to go out without the masks, and that's why they would sometimes provide them for you at the protests. Like, they have a table, and they had a Guy Fawkes mask, and they even had a fucking Spider-Man mask.
See, the Guy Fawkes mask I can understand, but the whole just a black mask, just a ski mask, no, that's the point where you go from ironic, protest face to you're just a thug. You're just an armed thug, and I have no respect for you. Sorry. But that said, moving on, Swedes watch postal thieves board moving mail truck from car. I don't know. There was this Family Guy episode where the Griffins, I forget what his name, Peter Griffin, becomes a pirate, and he starts driving around in a car with other pirates, actually dressed up as a pirate, and he tries to perform piracy from his car to another car. It was kind of funny. He was stealing an Englishman's tea. But I thought of that as a funny joke. I never realized that somebody would take that seriously and try and rob mail, specifically electronics packages, from postal service trucks while they were moving. Apparently, these people have figured out a way to steal over $300,000 of mostly laptops, computers, and smartphones from moving vehicles at about 50 miles an hour. I'm floored.
Sounds like fun.
I'm just, I can't believe it myself. I just can't. I mean, it's just, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I'm just floored. I'm absolutely floored. I mean, you're just sitting there going, wow, that is balls.
I can believe it. I don't want to, but it's true. So
I mean, it's like something out of Fast and Furious Swedish edition. The problem is Sweden's so overrun with Muslims. I pictured that it's a bunch of Muslims breaking into a mail truck with like some blonde guy driving like, sounding like the Swedish chef. I'm delivering the mail. Oh no, it's the mail thieves again. I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I just haven't had enough sleep. Moving on.
I can tell.
To Kevin Spacey, who came out of the closet the exact same time that he said, "Oh, I don't remember molesting a 14-year-old boy. It was a long time ago."
And people wonder why people associate homosexuality with pedophilia.
See the
People fucking wonder.
The problem isn't, you shouldn't associate with homosexuality with pedophilia. You should associate Hollywood with pedophilia. The problem is these stars. It's bizarre. This guy, and I gotta admit, I liked him as an actor. When he's scary, he's scary. He's a great villain. He's a great dramatic role player, and he's in less than a week, his entire career has been torpedoed. He's lost his job. He lost his gig on Netflix, and Kevin Spacey. I mean, I'm sure he'll bounce back eventually, but this guy won 2 Oscars, and now he's basically, nobody will even return his phone call.
Oh, it's Hollywood. People will get over it eventually.
Yeah, but wow. Yeah, also there was a film called Gore that was going to be released starring him. Now that's going to be canceled. Which I don't understand. Like, you've already made the movie and you're choosing not to release it because your star was a scumbag. I do, you know, this is how bad the left is that they will literally torpedo themselves financially rather than, you know, just to virtue signal. So that's where we're at. Any thoughts on Mr. Spacey?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want my business to be associated with a pedophile, so I also would not release a movie if it had him in it.
I'm with you. If he was convicted or proven, I gotta say that I still believe in the rule of law, and I don't want to crucify somebody until it's been proven. Even if he is a scumbag pedophile, I don't want to jump the gun. I mean, yeah, it probably is true. He probably is a pedophile. He's probably a scumbag. That said, I don't want to torpedo his entire life until it's been proven. Because people lie. You know, people will lie just to destroy, just because they hate you. I've had it happen to me. Much more limited circumstances, and it didn't involve pedophilia, but, you know, people will do things out of anger and spite. And so I want to give him at least, you know, more than a week before his life is destroyed. That's just me. Anyway, any more thoughts before we move on to something I read about Harvey Weinstein?
Is this working?
Oh, hey, I'm better than you is. Welcome on.
Hey. Hey, just on the Kevin Spacey thing, I have a massive aversion to this whole people coming out in public before the police have even had a chance to investigate it. See, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. That person is now screwed for any jury that's going to trial this, and that's unfair. Like, doesn't matter what they've done, the process is there to be fair.
I agree with you. The process is there to be fair, and I honestly don't believe that enough evidence will come out in a trial where even if he doesn't get convicted, people will have a pretty good idea what happened. But
oh yeah,
but we don't know what happened in a week. We really don't know what happened in a week.
That's exactly right. And for the person to come out and start saying, well, this is what happened before the police even had a chance to do it secretly, that's just ruined the entire case.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's also a big thing that stands out to me as to whether or not something's fishy, is when the person who's making the accusation doesn't go to the police and goes straight to the media. That's when I start going,
Well, yeah, well, this is the thing that I didn't understand about this, with all the Sheilas coming out about Harvey Weinstein. I mean, like, some of these Sheilas are really fucking powerful women. Like, what the fuck? You have to wait until some nondescript bloody model from nowhere comes out and says something before you all just decide to band together?
Well, it's because they were greedy and they liked the money rather than, you know, punishing Harvey Weinstein. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, that's what I think too, you know. It's sort of like they know full and well when they get into the industry that they might have to suck a dick now and then to get a job. And then they carried on as if like, oh, fuck, you know, oh, it's a big deal. And one of them even came out and said that, like, she'd been physically raped by this bloke and didn't realise that it was wrong until well later, and she was a fucking adult.
Yeah.
I think that's a point where I lost interest.
When you realize, I mean, the guy's obviously a scumbag, but, you know, whatever. I mean, but although there's something that Harvey Weinstein, I got to bring this up because I read this. There's an elephant in the room. regarding Harvey Weinstein. Bim Adwandim, whatever her name is, from BuzzFeed, so you know when their senior culture writer.
Oh, so it's going to be partly bull and full of shit then.
I'm going to sum it up for you. She's complaining that black women were not raped by Harvey Weinstein.
What?
Yep, that's it. Black women were not... He would not sleep with black women, so black women didn't get more roles in Hollywood. If Harvey Weinstein hadn't been such a racist on who he was molested and raped, there'd be more black women featuring roles in movies.
Yep, it's now racist not to rape black women.
Yep, it is racist not to rape black women. Can you freaking...
All right.
Jesus ever Christ, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
It's something funny that I just noticed last night.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, here's something funny I just noticed last night. The bit in Return of the Jedi at the end where Luke's all dressed in black, right? And it's supposed to signify that, like, he's got the dark side flowing through him, right? But then a part of his tunic comes open, right? And it's a right angle triangle that's come from the right side of his body that's opened up towards the left. And it's supposed to signify that deep down below all this darkness, he was still the light side. But no, you see, the white was on the right. And then the white came over to the black and formed a right angle triangle. Yeah, right angle triangle. See, the white is right. I'm waiting for him to figure that one out.
Oh God, that is absolute social justice warrior logic. Oh my God.
Well, that's just a spin-off of, like, Darth Vader was supposed to be a black fellow while he was evil, and then he turned white when he,
when he stopped being evil. Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, that one's out there already.
Oh yeah, that one I remember hearing that one. That was idiotic. The whole I don't know. I even want to get into Star Wars too much. Like I can't even stand it. I can't even like that was the worst Mary Sue ever. Well, no, I take that back. Star Trek Discovery is. As a side note, by the way, I know I talked about doing a Star Trek Discovery roundtable discussion about how bad the show was. After watching episode 7, I have lost all hope. I can't even generate enough hatred for the show. And
I think Al's done that too.
Yeah, there's so many people who have been watching us. They're trying to get angry, and then they just go, no, I'm sorry, Star Trek Discovery won. I've lost all hope. I'm just too sad. I'm too sad to rage about this. And I don't know if you guys listened to Doomcock, but my God, he did a review, and it's like, Star Trek is dead. I am unsubscribing from CBS. And I mean, it was basically 20 minutes of him talking about how the franchise is dead. And I gotta agree. I mean, I don't even see a point of discussing it now. I kind of looked forward to raging about it, but that last episode was just so sad. Not even in a good sad, just kind of pathetic and just poorly written and just headbanging.
Yeah, at what point does it stop being kicking the dead horse and does it start becoming bestiality? Yeah,
that's necro-pyro bestiality. The dead horse is on fire, and there's no point in fucking it anymore, okay? Just...
You wank on it to put it out.
Yes, at this point. I mean, it's done. Stick Star Trek with a fork, it's done. So if you were looking for some big round, table rant, evil burning of Star Trek, we can't. Everybody I've talked to, we've all lost hope. Nobody can generate enough shit. We cannot give enough shit. We can't give a single shit. Nobody gives a shit about Star Trek Discovery anymore.
Maybe that was their ploy. Make something so fucking bad that people will just be so dismayed before they can even sook about it.
Yeah, and it got renewed. I think that was the part where a lot of people just decided there was no God. Or maybe there is a God and he hates us. It's one of those two. Either God hates us or he doesn't exist.
Of course God hates us.
Yes, God's got to hate us. God hates us.
The Christians say, listen to Stephen Fry. He says it better than I do. But fucking, you've got God's supposed to be all loving and all caring and all this, but yet there's this plant that grows in Africa somewhere that spits out this spawn that takes control of ants and makes them into zombies. It makes them climb up this fucking tree, clamp themselves on, and then grow a spore out of their own head. Now, if you had a really nice God that was all loving and shit, why would he do something so fucked up as that?
Seems like a really, really bad game of Sims to me.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, and yeah, I see that. Part of me goes, you know what? I think it was the basis for that video game, The Last Among Us.
Oh, like, yeah, well, my opinion of God is if he is real and I do ever get to meet him, I'm punching the fuck out of him because he's a cunt.
I'll give him a chance to explain first before I flip him off. But at any rate, let's move on to one more topic and then we can go to general rants. Woman charged with stealing nuns' renowned cheesecakes. In White Creek, New York.
God it was a cheesecake.
Yep, a 48-year-old woman stole over $250 worth of baked goods from an order of nuns known for their cheesecake. At what point does stealing cheesecake from a nun become a good idea to anybody?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, because apparently they have an unstaffed gift shop that's run by the honor system.
Oh, but, okay.
So you can just go up and then you leave money for the cheesecake and then you get to take some cheesecake and go. Except some women walked up and just took the cheesecake and they didn't realize there was a camera. So,
yeah. I was just about to go really racist then.
Anyway, that about sums up the round table here. Just wanted to get through general topics and make sure that we got online and did something this evening. You know, to be honest, the DNC is self-destructing. We have another truck apiece in New York City and blah, 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 blah. You know, must be Saturday because, you know, it's like this every week at this point. That takes care of the general topics. I'm better than you. Is there anything going down in Australia you wanted to chat about?
I've just figured out how I can be legally armed in this country. You just brought up the Freedom Truck beeswax, and I've just found out that there is actually a hard copy publication from ISIS that actually states exactly how they're going to utilise the Kafirs vehicles, basically stating that, yeah, just pick a truck, any truck, and just drag the driver out of it, to utilise that truck as a weapon. Now, because now the 16 tonnes of battering ram I've got strapped to my ass is now a weapon, I feel that I should secure that weapon in an appropriate fashion, which means that I should be armed.
Wow, that's right. You drive a truck. Crap.
Oh, and here's another funny thing about it too, is that back in the 2000 Olympics, I was doing pickups for the Salvation Army, and we were doing their donation bins. And there's a clothing company in Australia called Suzanne, and they were right on the border of the Olympic site, but they still had a bin in there, and they were inside the exclusion zone. Now, with this exclusion shit, you're supposed to have an accreditation on your truck, an accreditation on yourself, and your load sealed by an accredited sealer and a time slot. And if you're a few seconds either side of your time slot, too bad, you have to go away and get another one. Now, I had none of these, and I used to go up to the checkpoints. You go through the volunteers and the cops, and they'll flag you straight through. The only thing the army did was say, right, apply your handbrake, turn the truck off, and they ran the bomb mirror under the truck while the truck was wide open, unsealed, no accreditation, no nothing. They still let me in. And the other drivers were saying that, well, why would they use a salvo truck for a terrorist attack? Like, why the fuck not? Who's going to suspect the salvos? And after I've just proven that they've just let me into an extremely secure area with no accreditations and no nothing, they didn't even check my name. And they just let me in with a dirty, great big truck.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's coming true.
You know, one thing that always puzzled me, I used to do flatbed, and I've been to all 48 states. And the one thing I note about truck lots, I mean, some are better lit than others, but there's some lots, especially the ones that come up with lot lizards. You know, it occurred to me once that, you know, if somebody were to kill me and just stuff me inside my truck, no one would know anything that happened to me.
No,
it might be,
right.
It might be at least 12 hours could before my dispatcher knows I'm not there because, you know, I would have to check in. Now, I mean, some of these,
it gets even better.
Some of these are tracked by Qualcomm, so they do know where their trucks are, but not all of them. All you need is one that doesn't have the dome on it. Go walk up, you know, have some friendly, you know, Sheila, as you put it up there, smile, flutter eyelashes, bash the guy over the back of the head, dump it in. You got yourself, you know, leave the trailer behind. Just take the cab. That thing will run over a lot of people.
No, you want the trailer. That's got all the expensive shit in it. That's what used to happen out here a lot. Like out the back of nowhere, you'd be in the middle of the night, someone would drive past you, a bloke would lean out the window with a shotgun, put 2 rounds into your radiator, so you're stopping anyways. And then when you finally pull up, they drag you out of the truck, unhook your prime mover, come up with another prime mover and pinch your trailer.
Really? That's impressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fucking, and depending on what's on the trailer, it could be anything from bloody booze, cigarettes, food, toilet paper, all the way up to millions of dollars worth of NASA equipment. I've carried that shit before too.
I never had to worry about any of that because that stuff I always moved was like building materials. Like there's not a big market for steel coils. But although on the topic there, I think, did you catch where we were talking about how in Sweden people are robbing mail trucks while they're moving?
Oh, I hadn't heard about that one.
Oh, yeah. They jump, like at up to 50 miles an hour. They jump on the back of these trucks, go in, and just steal the electronics and then drive off. I mean, it's just like, wow, that's impressive. I got to wonder who's doing it. It's like Fast and the Furious.
That's what I was just going to say.
I mean, I remember seeing something like that in a Family Guy cartoon once, but I didn't think anybody would actually try it. But yeah, no.
Oh, without like, you know.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, without all the high performance cars and all that kind of crap, it is a bloody scene out of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I you know, personally, I always wondered, like, I hate to say this, but when I look at modern terrorists, I go, my God, you guys are kind of stupid. You guys keep going for the dumb targets. There's so much damage you could cause. There's so much you could destroy that would be far more devastating than a couple of people run over on a bike path. Like, I hate to say it, corporate America, I don't think there's a lot of big business that cares about, you know, a dozen people being run over by a truck. But if you were to accidentally destroy Hershey Park, you know, if you like destroyed one of their factories, let me assure you, every Muslim on the planet would be banned in a heartbeat. You know, I'm sorry, but in Pennsylvania, chocolate is king. If anything happened in the Hershey production facilities down there, my God, the president would do something. Anyway,
it's just lucky. It's very, very hard to blow up a brewery.
Oddly enough, I worked at a couple of plants on and off when I was doing the shipping, and it always struck me as how dangerous those places were. You know?
Oh, yeah, you got ruptures under pressure and all that, but you're not going to have a mushroom cloud coming up.
Oh, yeah, you don't need to have a mushroom cloud coming up. You just need to render the place inoperable. That'll cost millions. You start costing millions of dollars. You start costing financial money. Oh, my God. America will. Let me assure you that I think that's when the Democrats would change sides. The minute you started like costing rich people money.
Well, if they blew up a brewery in Australia, Qantas would be the richest company in the world because every single fucking Australian will be buying a plane ticket over the Middle East to thump the fuck out of the heathen cunts that blew up their brewery.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hit people where it hurts, you know. And this whole thing is just,
Yep.
It's just sad, really.
And that's where we got to say, stiff shit, can't you want to hide in a mosque? We're going to blow it up, because that's what we haven't been doing in Iraq. It was famous that these assholes would hide in the mosques because the Yanks didn't want to blow them up, so they didn't want to piss off the locals. What was funny at those, when they went over to Syria and they tried the same thing, the Syrians didn't give a fuck. They're like, you want to hide in there? All right. And when they said, oh, you blew up our mosque, well, don't fucking hide in it.
I got to admire him for that. I mean, to be honest, I would have. I've been like, oh, you blew up our mosque, we're going to hate you for it. I'd be like, sorry, it's a war. You already hate us. It's not like this is going to do any more good. Oh, wow, you're going to hate us more? Really? Oh, this is going to be the line. Okay. Didn't know that. But
yeah, no, I'm a massive avid fan of, nah, don't give them kids gloves. Don't treat them like, don't pander to them. You grab them by the scruff of the neck, you thump the fuck out of them until they're sorry. Or until they want to be civil.
I don't know if that's possible anymore. I
can dream.
I got a feeling at some point there's going to be something really horrible that's finally going to shift things, but it's going to have to be really horrible. And it's unfortunately, I think, especially as long as we have this random visa selection thing. Dear God, I don't know if you know how that works here in America, but apparently certain people get put into a pool and we randomly pick somebody to give a visa to come into America.
And have these people been vetted?
Well, the guy who drove over all those people got into America thanks to the random visa program.
Lovely. Well, that wouldn't happen to be Barry's idea by any chance.
No, actually, that's been around since Irish people were trying to come here during the potato famine.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, they were having problems getting Irish into the country, so they invented this as a way of something or other. I don't understand it. It does, if an immigration policy from a potato famine is still in effect, maybe it's time to, nix the program.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, you've still got gun laws that stem from the musket era too, so.
Yeah, maybe the whole United States law code could use a, fresh coat of paint or something.
Oh, there's tons of laws in your country that need that. I mean, like, if you look at some of these top 10 lists, some of them even come up with the weird laws in America, and it's like in Arkansas or something like that, you're not allowed to sleep with a porcupine at the foot of your bed on Tuesday nights or some crap like that. That's still law, apparently.
No, it wasn't a porcupine, it was a pig. Just porcine.
Like
not a porcupine, porcine. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. And a lot of these weird laws in small towns were made just to piss off one person usually. But yeah, there's a weird law here in central New York about chickens. Like, you're not allowed to carry your chickens openly on city streets. They have to be in a basket. Like, they can't be in a carrier. They have to be in a basket.
I heard this story about this place in Illinois. It's called Gunsville. Apparently, the law is that you have to be armed on the streets, and if you shoot someone, you drag them inside your house before you call the cops. But apparently, since they put that law in, they haven't even had one instance of fucking shoplifting. Fun point, I'm pretty sure it's the same town, and they've got a monthly tradition when the train comes through the town, the whole town lines the tracks and moons the train.
I have not heard about that one, but I have heard about the town. I'm not sure if it's Gunsville, but I have heard of the town that made it mandatory for people to have own guns. Actually, there's a couple of towns that make it mandatory to own guns. I don't know about open carry, but I know there's a couple. And the theory is we're not going to enforce the law, but we make it mandatory for everybody to own a gun. And the reason why is, if you're not sure which house has a gun, are you going to rob anybody?
Yeah, well, the rationale they said when I saw this story, this was over fucking 15 years ago when I saw this, was that, yeah, their rationale was if everyone's armed, you draw a gun, everyone else is going to draw a gun on you.
Oh, yeah, that does work. I mean, the whole mutual assured destruction thing, yeah, it works. It does make a civil society. But, well. Oh.
Yeah, I'm out of a job because Mad's not around anymore.
You lost your job?
Oh, I was trained up as a Cold War soldier, and then right as the fucking Cold War ended.
Gotcha. I know what you're talking about. Okay. At any rate, I guess that's about everything we're going to topic, unless there's anything you want to bring up. Anything from our panel of experts?
Nah.
Can't wait to use this excuse about being armed, but...
Oh, I hope they let you get armed. I mean, seriously.
They won't.
I mean, that's... I remember doing truck driving. It was, it was incredibly dangerous. Like if somebody wants to come at you, you're just screwed. Like as you said, more than once I've been in situations where I've been going, you know what? Where I am right now, if somebody came along and shot me in my head, I don't think anybody would find me for a week. Did I tell you the story? I'm sorry.
My best friend used to be my tie-down bar.
Did I ever tell you about when the guy I drove with who found a human foot?
Is that the one where it was like tucked in the bull bar or between the fuel tanks or something like that?
No. I rode with this guy. I need to say the whole story sometime, but I call him the Herald of Death because everywhere he went, he had a story about something horrible that happened there. And we were delivering granite for tombstones. Yes, we were delivering headstones. So we were making like multiple stops all over the place. And we were driving through South Dakota, and we were driving along. He points and says, you know, right on the side of that road, that's where I found a human foot. And I said, what? Yeah, I had to pull over and take a piss, and I pulled over on the side of the road, and I started to pee, and I said, hey, what's that in the snow? And I kicked it around, and there was a human foot in a shoe. And I said, bullshit, bull fucking shit. No, you are lying to me. I have been putting up with your stories for God knows how long, for like 4 days now. No, you did not find a human foot on the side of the road. I do not believe that. And then the guy went, I was driving, he was in the passenger seat. He went in the back of the cab, went to his bunk, and pulled out a fucking Polaroid of a goddamn human foot.
Oh my God.
He said, and then I called the cops and had them come by. Apparently there had been a car accident in that area, and the guy got dismembered in the accident, and they never found the foot.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, but there was a lot more with that guy because I got to deliver tombstones on Halloween. That was a fun trip, I will tell you that. But
he's a good little quickie. I was doing a changeover up in Tarcutta and with another driver, and we took 2 trucks up and brought one back, so I was offside and on the way back. Anyway, we get just north of this place called Kew, which is Kew. It's just north of where I am. It's like about 400 k's north of Sydney. Anyway, yeah, so we've smacked this fucking roo, right? We've got this bastard fair and square right in the fucking guts. Bloody, it went splat. Anyway, about an hour later, we pulled up for some fuel, and Luke, the driver, he gets out of the truck and he's walked to the bloody the fuel tanks. Yeah, this is where I got the kangaroo head from. Yeah, bloody yeah, he's fucking seen his kangaroo's head looking straight up at him. He's like, fuck! He's just blood and gore and guts and shit. He's shit. He fucking jumped back. He's freaking out like fuck. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? And he goes, Jesus, look at that. I'm like, oh, that's where his head went.
I'm sorry, running over a kangaroo. I mean, I feel a little bad for the kangaroo, but to like get out and find a kangaroo head just got looking at you out of your gas tank. Oh, I can see that.
And I used to, well, there was one point there, they sent me up the workshops to take me off the road for a bit because I was getting a bit aggro on the road. So I was getting under all the B doubles and stuff to wash all the crap out from under them. And yeah, you'd pull out fucking half a roo's leg and all sorts of shit. And while you're under there, you spray the gurney and all of a sudden you get this splashback and there's all chunks and shit and the splashback goes straight in your face. You're like, oh crap, what did I just fucking eat then?
You live a charmed life, my friend.
Oh, yeah, and especially when you get the chlorotan all over you and you go home smelling like a baked dinner because it's acidic.
I hope you didn't accidentally cook yourself. Any rate, dismembered kangaroos aside, any other topics before we wrap this up? Alrighty. Well, it's probably a good place to start. I think it's been a little over an hour. Any rate, it's been real and it's been fun. It's been kind of fun. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope everybody out there has a pleasant evening. You gonna?
Oh, actually.
Oh, what?
Can I squeeze a really good joke in before we go?
Sure thing.
Right. Pay attention. There was a fly hovering 6 inches above a lake. There was a trout under the lake watching this fly, thinking, when that fly drops 6 inches, I'm going to jump up and get him. There was a bear watching the fly and the trout, and he's thinking the same thing too. He's thinking, when the fly drops 6 inches, trout's going to eat the fly, and I'm going to grab that trout. And there was a hunter watching the bear, the trout, and the fly. And he's thinking the same thing too. He's thinking when the fly drops 6 inches, the trout's going to get the fly, the bear's going to get the trout, and I'm going to shoot him. There was a mouse watching the bear, the trout, the fly, and the hunter. And he's thinking the same thing too. He's thinking when that fly drops 6 inches, the trout's going to get the fly, the bear's going to get the trout, the hunter's going to shoot the bear, and I'm going to jump on that big chunk of cheese in his picnic basket. There was a cat watching the bear, the trout, the fly, the hunter, and the mouse. And he's thinking the same thing too. He's thinking when that fly drops 6 inches, the trout's going to get the fly, the bear's going to get the trout, the hunter's going to get the bear, and the mouse is going to get the cheese. And when he does that, I'll get him. Bang. Then it all happens. The fly drops 6 inches. The trout gets the fly, the bear gets the trout, the hunter shoots the bear, the mouse gets the cheese, but the cat fucked up. He goes flying off into the river because the mouse looked around and he ducked. There's a moral to this story, boys and girls. When a fly drops 6 inches, you're bound to end up with a wet pussy.
Oh, 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 God. Oh, that was painful. Oh, oh, God, that was.
It's better when you're drunk.
It's better when you're drunk. Still funny, but oh my God. Okay. Well, on that happy note, we'll take it out of here. All right. You got to give your famous ending?